I get a bunch of messages a day, like, how do I start custom harvest? How do I go do this? How do I do what you do? And I'm always like, you have to let go of what you're used to. You know, like, yep, you have a family farm. Yep, you got stuff going on, but that stuff will always be there.
There is a podcast in Iowa, Farm4Profit was named by they. Fate stirred up a banker near, then quick came an auctioneer. Making profit was their first goal, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Soon may the farmers come to bring us guests and beer and fun. One day when the recording's done, we'll take our mics and go. These formats shook us to our core. With Farm4Fun, you will not snore. The banker set all mics to on, and the mullet of podcasts was born. Soon may the farmers come to bring us guests and beer and fun. One day when the recording's done, we'll take our mics and go. Before we knew, conversations grew. Growing corn even said F you. So won't you join Tanner, Dave, Corey, and crew? Please like, share, review. Soon may the farmers come to bring us guests and beer and fun. One day when the recording's done, we'll take our mics and go.
Sparkling water.
Would we ever?
We don't drink on this podcast. What are you talking about?
Yeah, this is the Farm for Not Fun podcast.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to drink to have fun.
Oh, that's right.
Quit promoting that, Tanner.
We are supported financially and proudly by Busch Light.
Thank you, Busch. Yeah.
Sorry, this is Tanner Winterhoff.
This is Corey Hillebow.
And we are your hosts of the Farm for Profit podcast. We are getting ready to kick off a Farm for Fun episode today where we're going to do just that, have quite a bit of fun.
And I'm excited because we haven't had an in-studio guest for a while.
That's right.
And she is sitting right here. See if we can drop enough hints that people can
miles
figure it out.
and miles and miles of travel to get here.
She drove over 8 hours to get here today.
Just today.
And she's going to drive another 2.5 after this.
So first of all, they know it's she and that she drives a lot.
Yep.
That's great. But listeners, if you want to be a guest or you know somebody else that would be a good one, send them to farm4profitllc@gmail.com. You can leave us text messages, voicemails, 515-207-9640. We appreciate all messages, especially your reviews. Go out to Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. Hit the 5 stars. Let us know what you think.
Yep. And as always, the listener review is brought to you by someone that we like to work with closely. And this week it's brought to you by Sukup Manufacturing.
That's right.
There's one thing that Tanner and I both could use more of, and it's grain storage, handling. Well,
not hats.
Well, yeah. Don't ask my wife because she would not say hats because I do not have enough places to store hats. But we need more grain storage, faster handling capabilities, faster drying capabilities, and Sukup is where we get it. They're right up the road from us in Sheffield, Iowa. They cover all of the world, really.
We got to go through their facilities, and they are one organized company.
Yep.
They've got a lot of key players in right positions that help make them the leader in the industry. Our review today is off of Facebook. We find you everywhere. Mark on Facebook said, I've listened to your podcast for a long time. This one, talking about the scarcity mindset episode, was different and especially hit home. Well done. Keep it up.
Yep.
Good job, Corey.
Yeah. We did.
You weren't even on that show.
That's why I did good. Sometimes you just got to keep your mouth shut.
That's right. Sit
what I
back.
I
But
took it all in.
It was a really good episode. We've got more shows like that planned coming down the pipeline. We also want to say thank you to Legacy Farmer. Go to legacyfarmer.org. They will help keep your farm running for generations to come. Jace has provided us a lot of powerful tips on the podcast. So if you want to work with them and more than 300 of your peers, go to legacyfarmer.org and sign up. Fill out that application. It's probably a scary process, but someone who wouldn't be scared about doing something like that is the guest that we have in studio.
Probably.
Fearless.
Yep.
Yeah. But no, go to legacyfarmer.org and check them out. Are you ready, Corey?
I am.
We didn't really give very many more clues.
Are you ready?
I can be.
Do you have a song queued up?
I can. I don't know. I don't think it's her type. So this song's really not going to be a giveaway at all.
All right. You ready for this?
Yeah.
On today's Farm for Fun show, we catch a young traveler of the new world of ag and ag social media. She hasn't let not being raised on a farm stop her passion from agriculture. She busted on the scene in 2020 where she quickly became known as the Acre Gal and has most recently been sharing her experience traveling the country on a custom harvest crew all summer long. She boasts over 100,000 followers on TikTok, over 16,000 followers on YouTube, subscribers, almost 100,000 followers on Instagram. I think she just hit over 100,000 followers on Instagram today, over 12,000 on Twitter, and there's many more. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Miss Ag with Emma. All right. Woo. Tongue twisters, small print.
Fat fingers.
Fat fingers. We got through her. Over 8 hours driven today just to get to this podcast. Emma, thank you for coming. How are you?
For having me. I'm very good. I'm pretty tired of driving.
I bet
She's
you
ready
are.
to be on a podcast.
Yeah.
No more driving until after the podcast.
So this is not your first time on the podcast, but Tanner canned the first time that you were on it, so this is the second time around.
I'm shocked he took me back after the horrible performance of the first round.
I'm going to blame the performance on Dave and Corey.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with Emma.
Yeah, Tanner wasn't on that recording, and it was down at National Farm Machinery Show, and
Yes.
what happened was we just had too much content, if there's such a thing.
Right.
And I don't think there is, but...
Well, we're going through that process with Farm Progress Show content. We've still got a couple of those shows we're going to put out. Like, we have to because it's good stuff. I know you're probably sick of listening to us from Farm Progress Show, but
With the background noise and the chitter
Right,
chatter, yeah.
But
it
we
was
were
great.
But we were also one show a week at that time at National Farm Machinery.
That's
Show.
true.
So now we're two. So now we can get through it twice the amount of time.
Yeah, that's right. So was I right? Is Footloose on your favorite movies list?
I bop to it.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, I was wrong.
I mean, I've got a very wide range of musical things on my playlist. When you drive for as long as I do and you sit in a tractor for as many hours as I did this summer, you got to mix it up. Right. So,
Okay, so Corey gave us an introduction. How do you introduce yourself?
I always say I'm Ag with Emma because I never give people my full name on the internet because strangers weird me out. But
Yeah.
I didn't grow up on a farm, but I'm here now, and I'm not even on a farm anymore. I just now I'm all flustered.
She's not, but honestly,
But
you have more farm experience than probably most farmers do.
Which
I would
it's
say.
weird to think about that, and I don't know if I like that because it's like, I put myself into it 100%, and I go do what I say I'm going to do within the ag industry, and I've always set goals, and custom harvest was a goal, doing shop work was a goal, so I just go set out and do it, and I'm very blessed to not be tied back to something like a farm, a family farm.
Yeah.
Because I get to go have all these opportunities and experiences that all my friends that, farm with their families, they're like, I am so jealous of you. I wish I could leave that much. I wish I could go see the things that you see every day. So that's why I document it. And that's how Ag with Emma started. But
I would say that out of my classmates in high school, everybody that was part of a farm family, even a couple of guys that weren't, wanted to go on a harvest crew. Just go and do it and see it. And you understood that it was going to be long hours and repetitive job, but you wanted to go because it seemed exciting.
yeah,
Was it exciting?
it was so exciting. And I learned so much. And it always throws people off because I'm a girl. You don't see a lot of girls go do that, especially girls that aren't related. Because you'll see sisters and moms go or girlfriends. But I didn't have any of those ties. And so, I was kind of expecting myself to not last. Everyone was telling me, you're not going to last. There's too many long hours, too much time on the road. You're going to get lonely. You're going to miss your family. You're going to come home. So, that was fueling my little,
Right.
I'll prove you wrong right now.
Yeah.
I will
If you
sit
tell
in this
me I can't
tractor
do it.
all year long, and I will prove you wrong. But it was the experience of a lifetime, and I want to do it again. I'll do that till I die if I could. It was honestly because you see so many things and you meet so many people, and the amount of acres that you run across, it's insane. And you gain all these new skills, and I'm very specific. I know a lot more about harvest than I ever would have just working a couple weeks on a family farm.
Yeah.
I could look at a combine and tell you that's how you fix that, and that. And that's something a guy that owns his own combine on his farm, he might not even know that,
Right.
you know, because he calls the John Deere tech because he's like, well, we have time to do this, but like, no, when we're out in the field on harvest, like you fix that stuff and you move on, and like you're always going.
Well, and you put so many more hours on a machine to where you're inevitably probably going to have more breakdowns.
Yes.
Yeah.
Breakdowns all the time.
Interesting. Okay, so let's.
I got so many questions.
I know. let's get a timeline. What all have you done?
Since when?
What since little Emma?
Since like it came out of the womb.
So you didn't grow up on a farm.
Okay, so this is the part that kind of confuses people because I grew up out of town, and like for my 12th birthday, I asked for a cow for my birthday, right? And before that, my mom married a dairy farmer, and like that was her first husband. And then we were kind of on the dairy a little bit in Wisconsin. That was in Wisconsin. So that's where all the cute little pictures when I was a kid, like I was sitting on the tractors and like petting the cows and stuff like that. But I'd wake up early to feed the cows, stuff like that. But then we moved to Washington, and my mom got divorced, and then she remarried a farmer from Idaho. So that farmer, my stepdad, who I call dad, it was kind of like a corporate farm. Like, I know the corporate farm term, like a lot of people associate that with the wrong things, but it really was like a business. It wasn't a family operation. It was like a corporate.
Lots of employees.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, I think it was literally like LTD or corporate was in the name somewhere.
Yeah.
So I didn't really, like, I was his quote unquote step kid. I was kind of like scared of him. I was like, oh, I'm not going to go ask dad to like go ride in the tractor and stuff.
Right.
They did potatoes and whatever. But we were raised in that kind of rural community where there was a lot of opportunities to go do that kind of thing. Like, oh, if you want to go pick rock this weekend, you can go, feed animals for the neighbor that's leaving for the weekend. So that's kind of how we started in it. And then for my 12th birthday, I was like, Mom, I want a cow. So we went and got a cow, and I milked that thing, not by hand. We got like a little single station milker thing, and we set up, and we'd go down there every morning, every night, and milk it. And then like that's how I kind of learned about like AI, breeding, how to raise calves right. We had backyard steers for a freezer. So between
That's still pretty cool.
It is, and that's what it was a good learning opportunity. And then my mom really liked gardening, so she got into that. And then I was in FFA in high school, so I watched my sister go through FFA. She was more in like the food science, not the farming stuff. And then I was like, well, I want to do that too. So I was an FFA officer for a couple of years. And then through my FFA classes, my ag teacher and I were pretty close because ag teachers are always homies. Oh, yeah. And he taught me a lot. He's actually the reason that I like the 43560 so much. He taught me that and like drilled it into our heads. And I'm like, that's why it's so important. So that ties into another part of my social media stuff. But I got a job with a university extension office, and we did some cover crop research. Like I helped with that. It was really small scale stuff and more research and development. So I think that really benefited me from, watching back now, hindsight, that's kind of has helped my attention to detail with more stuff within agriculture. But after I graduated high school, I started college at a community college that was like 30 minutes away from where I grew up. And I majored in agriculture. I switched my major like 4 times because I couldn't decide what part of agriculture I liked the most. And this is also another part of ag with Emma, right? You guys see that?
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah,
so
absolutely.
I did that. I switched majors 4 times. I was still in the same department. I just couldn't decide. I was like, there's so much that I want to learn that I cannot sit here and just narrow it down.
Right.
And so while I was in college, I worked in seed production. And the guy that invented sugar snap peas, like the ones you get in the grocery store in the veggie trays, actually invented them in Twin Falls, where I'm from, where I went to school. So my boss's grandpa invented the sugar snap pea.
Boss's grandpa.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he died a couple years before I started working there. So I never got to meet him. But like, you work places like that and you just like feel how cool it is kind of thing. So I did that for 2 years. And then I went up to the University of Idaho. I was going to major in ag science, communication, and leadership. And then this February of 2022 is the year, correct? I dropped out because I was like, I'm not learning anything that I can't teach myself, and I want hands-on experience. So after I was in college, I actually worked in fast food in college as well because it was convenient. I could work late, work early whenever I wanted. There wasn't very many farmers up in Moscow that, it's all wheat farmers, so they were all done. It was like nothing convenient. Yeah. So I did that, and then dropped out. So I was like, screw this. I miss my family. Like, I miss being where I feel like home is. And then I went down and found a guy. So I started ag with Emma before I started University of Idaho. And that summer I was doing farm tours. I went and met with like Quentin Keneally. He was my first farm tour ever.
Really?
And yeah, like first guy that I was like, I know you have social media and this might be a little awkward, but can I come stop on your farm and we can make a video?
You found him because he was wakeboarding in a ditch somewhere?
Probably. Yeah. I just listened to that episode today on my way over here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I did that. I guess February I dropped out. I started working in a shop, and then we were doing irrigation maintenance and everything like that. And then I had already made the commitment to do custom harvest at that time. So like November of last year, I got on with custom harvest. And then in May, on my birthday, actually, my 21st birthday, I started custom harvest down in Oklahoma.
Nice.
So
Wow. All right, before we get into your next level and tell us stories about your custom harvesting, let's get into our first concoction with Busch Light. So this is Busch Light with just a little bit. This isn't a 50-50 mix. Oh, man.
Oh, spilling it all over the
my
place.
Oh, what?
He always
Party
does that.
foul.
Party foul.
So
This-
Tanner took the time a couple weekends ago to mix down atomic fireballs. You ground them up?
Ground them up in a blender. And then I simmered them with vodka.
Okay.
So I took the powder, put it into vodka, simmered it. And then
this is just fire, or this is just not fireball. This is just atomic fireballs with vodka.
This comes from a listener that said that they like drinking beer with an atomic fireball in their mouth.
Okay.
And then I just took it one step further. So Corey and I will try this. Emma's going to observe.
Emma's going to drink some water.
Going to drink some water. You need to smell it.
I'll smell it.
You smell it while we're tasting it.
Just the vodka.
You know what atomic fireballs are? It's a cinnamon candy.
Oh, it smells good.
It smells cinnamony. Cinnamony.
Cinnamon gummy bears.
Cinnamony.
Cinnamon.
All right,
Let's
bottoms
give it a
up.
try.
Yeah, don't slurp in the microphones.
I freaking love this.
It is good. Are you sure we couldn't just put a shot of fireball in like the farm babe told us?
I'm pretty sure that's like, it smells the same as Fireball. Not that I know what
But
that
it's-
smells like, Mom.
But it's smoother. You've smelled people's breath that just drank fireball.
Exactly. Corey's got my back.
You've done this.
Wait,
you've done
you
the
kissed
fireball.
guys?
Absolutely not.
You've done the fireball on the golf course with a Busch Light.
Yep.
Does this taste like that? Do you remember?
That's hard to tell. It's a different time in my life. A couple months back.
Like that was just this summer. I was just with you.
That was pre-harvest brain.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
I know it's fair.
Okay, Busch Light, thank you for being a partner of the podcast. But while we're talking harvest, how did custom harvesting go? Where did you go? How did it go?
It was very interesting. Had a lot of experiences that I didn't think I would have, but I'm glad I did. But basically, we started down in the panhandle of Oklahoma, and I was actually on 2 crews this year. So that's a whole nother story. But started in the panhandle of Oklahoma, and that's where I went the first week of May. We were doing shop stuff. So like the first time I ever fixed a tire, we switched out all the tires on the semis. Had no idea how to do that stuff. Right. I was like right in it. We revamped the crew trailer, and then we moved south. So we went to Frederick, Oklahoma, and that is where we started wheat harvest. And we got rained out right after getting there because you know what they say, when the harvesters show up, so do the rain clouds. And so we were rained out for probably 2 weeks out of the 3 or 4 weeks that we're there. And that was hard because I was like, I came down here to work, and now the rain is like, screw you.
So what do you do during that time?
You sit in your camper.
Really?
In the middle of nowhere with no friends, and you go out to eat a lot, and then you spend all your money, and then you get depressed, and then
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Is you're forced to be there. Do you still get paid on rain days?
yeah. So especially, okay, this is the nice part because I was on salary. So the whole time I was on harvest, like I was on salary pay, and that we were on salary, room and board, and food were all included for the most part. Like there were some rainy day dinners that like we had to get ourselves because like they were tired of paying for our food and not working, you know.
Sure.
Which is totally fair. You know, like we're very blessed to go out to dinner and they paid for a lot of it. But Some other crews that have like hourly wages don't get paid on rainy days. So if they're not working, they're not getting paid. So like in a year like this, when they had all the drought and then they had all the rain and just at all the wrong times, like I feel like it would have sucked a little bit to be on a crew that paid hourly if like they were a smaller crew, because especially how I only ran with a crew that ran with 3 combines instead of like, the big massive harvest crews that are like 7 to 10 that you see on the internet that are like, oh, that's custom harvest. I had to go a little smaller because I'm a girl and I wanted to feel safer. And
That's fair.
the rap that some harvest crews get, but
That's fair to know who you're working with.
Exactly.
And the odds are better in a smaller group.
yeah, it was more of like a family atmosphere for me for sure.
Right.
Like, and it's like that with any harvest crew, they turn into your family for sure.
Was any of it family? Like how much of it was family? Like your boss?
Yeah,
and
so
then
my
his
boss
kid,
and his
or-
wife and then their kids or,
So like 3 or 4
yeah.
of the crew, and then the other 3 or 4, or how many were on your crew
So
total?
there was my boss and his wife, and then there was me and Slim and Mike on the crew that I just like because I was on 2. It complicates it, and it's not. I don't. Yeah. So on the crew I just finished with, it was my boss, his wife, me, Slim, and Mike. And Mike was an older guy. He's a really cool guy, and he was like really supportive of the whole Ag with Emma thing. He thought my drone was the coolest thing ever. Every time I put it up, he's like, "You go put your little bird in the sky." He'd get on the radio and be like, "Your little bird's in the air."
That's funny.
That's something I didn't think about. You probably have to have someone that's open to that.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah, the
someone
social
could
media
be
stuff. Yeah.
an a-hole
Yeah.
saying, hey, this is time to work. Get that thing back out.
Exactly.
Go catch the combine.
Yeah. So they were all really and they all think what I do is cool. So that was another good part of it. When I got hired on the first crew, I was like, I'm going to be YouTubing the crap out of this. Like, this is all going on the internet. And they're like, that's fine. So that was really good. And then when I started with this other crew, they were super understanding of it too. I don't think they understood the capacity at which I was going to be filming things, because they were like, oh yeah, you do the internet thing. That's cool. And then I was like, here's my camera. How are you?
Yeah,
You
right.
know? So I tried not to make people uncomfortable. I honestly get a little bit embarrassed to film when I'm around people because I don't want to make them like, I've had a lot of problems with going to do farm tours and then they ask me 2 weeks later, hey, take down my content. I don't want it up anymore because it gets more attention than they want it to. And then people that they know start asking them about it and they're like, oh, what was going on there?
Yeah,
Oh.
so
We've had
the truth has now been revealed. That
We were just
it
talking
wasn't-
about custom harvest. Sorry.
It wasn't me that didn't put out Emma's first interview. Emma called us and said, don't use that.
Yeah, that's it. We've had people ask to not
We have.
not use content, and
Exactly. And
At
I
the-
understand that.
it is understanding. But then at the end of the day, too, like you spend a lot of time and effort doing some of this stuff,
Literally.
and driving there, and
I mean, we
planning.
don't pay you to sit here,
No.
but we've also been sitting here with you and preparing for this,
Yeah.
for you to just tell us, nah, don't use it.
Exactly. It's so annoying. That's one of the most annoying parts about social media stuff because most of the time it's boys that were interested in me. And then I was like, hey, I don't want that.
Right.
You're done. You're done.
You're done. And then they turn around and say,
And then they
"No,
turn around. They're like,
you're
well,
done."
take my stuff off the internet. And I'm like, well, sorry, buddy. It's up. It's up.
Yeah.
Well, I
I
was
was going to have to start
you
signing
go.
contracts.
Yeah. I have started that. So,
releases or whatever it is.
release forms. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got one of those too. So before you
Oh,
leave,
perfect.
we're gonna-
I'll sign it with spit.
Sign it on camera.
yeah.
So obviously, and we don't have to talk about this, but you didn't probably plan to be with 2 crews, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
what
so
happened
I'm
there?
not going to badmouth anyone, and there's nothing bad really to say. It was just kind of I could either leave or continue to deal with it, and most people were like, oh, you should just dealt with it, but there was some circumstances and situations in which I was not okay with, and they weren't getting fixed, and so I was like, okay, hasta la pasta. And it was I felt bad about how it happened, because, like, I texted my boss, and I was like, all right, this isn't getting fixed, I'm leaving. I'm packing my bags, and I'm gone tonight, kind of thing, because you know how the awkwardness of leaving that kind of thing, because they're your family, you know, it's
right.
like you really care about them, like you bust your butt to be there, and that was the best situation for me. So my sister came and picked me up, and I didn't ask for anything else from him, and I was like, I'm sorry, like I understand the stress this is going to bring on you guys, because it is hard, like everyone's shorthanded, and I was like, I really don't want to do this, but that's just how it had to work out.
Right.
And then I had no plans to go back to harvest, like I really wanted to, but I was like, if it's going to be like that again, I can't do it.
Yep.
So the next day, because they posted like immediately that they were looking for a grain cart driver, and I had been tagging them in some posts, and people knew that I was gone at that point. I hadn't said anything about it. People just kind of gathered, like,
Right, got 2 and 2 together.
oh my gosh, Emma just quit. And I was like, so I had people messaging me at the wazoo. Like, everyone was like, what happened? What happened? I haven't really, like, I was like, it doesn't matter. Like, And then the next day, Ohio farmer Logan, he's from Ohio. He wouldn't have gotten this over.
Really?
He messaged me and he was
he
like,
could really throw somebody off if he's like from Wyoming.
Yeah.
he messaged me the next day and was like, dude, what happened? And was like, here, call this other crew. They need help. Like, they're really shorthanded, because they only had 3 people, and they were like,
Well, when you said the names of people that you worked with, I'm sitting there going, that's not enough to run 3 combines. And
yeah. So we were only running 2 like, there was 3 there's 3 in the rotation, but we wouldn't always bring them to all the stops. So like, there was definitely 3, but yeah.
Yeah.
So they hired out in a couple stops, and then they had lost another grain cart driver that year. So they got me in North Dakota. So when I quit my first crew, I was in Montana, in eastern Montana. And I got picked up by my sister who lives in North Dakota. And then I took a flight down to Iowa and saw my mom and my family for 2 days. And then I drove to Oklahoma to get my car, to move my car to Kansas. And then I drove the crew car for this new crew from Kansas back to North Dakota.
Oh, geez.
So that all happened within a week. And then, like...
miles. Miles and miles.
Many miles. That all happened really fast. And then I started and finished wheat harvest with them in North Dakota. And then we did corn and milo, and then we were done. So I started with my second crew in the first week of August, or maybe it was the second week. It was the second week of August that I started with them.
I was going to say, it was, I think I heard about you going to a second crew. I think we were at Clint and Naomi's wedding.
Yeah, it was right around that time. Yeah, because I was
Someone's like, hey, did you hear about that one? What are you talking about? No, I didn't know.
Emma went all wacko. She went all cuckoo. Everyone said she wasn't going to make it. Look what she's doing now.
She didn't make it.
Yeah.
Right.
I know. So that's the weird part about people telling me that I wasn't going to make it. I was like, well, did I make it or did I not make it? Because I was there from May to November. You know, I was
mean,
on harvest.
You had the every opportunity to leave.
Yeah. I had the
went
opportunity
back.
to not go back to harvest,
Yeah,
but I
and you went
freaking
back.
love it so much that
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way I can't not.
And the amount of snaps that I got from you towards the end, you're like, I should leave today, but I'm not, or I'm still here, or what? Like you were like
I was so tired.
yeah,
It wasn't even about the crew or anything like that. It's just you get to a point on harvest that it's like, I am so tired of this. You're doing the same thing every single day.
yeah. You're literally making content about where you go to the bathroom.
Exactly. Dude, that blew up. Dude, you seen that? It has 2.8 million views right now. It has 400,000 likes for talking about where I pee. I'm like, that is so disgusting.
Yeah.
What does the internet do what it does?
It is.
Because it's real. Because like it's literally like
It's so
every
funny.
farmer in a tractor that has spent more than an hour in a tractor has had to take a in the field, and they're out, no trees around, and they literally have to go somewhere. And God forbid, you just hope you have a blue roll of paper towels.
Yes.
You keep those things on you like a Glock.
Yeah.
Corey, though, has shared a story with our listeners early on. And maybe some of these new listeners haven't gone back that far to hear your story. Because,
About your field?
yes, he had once done his business.
Okay, yeah. So it's like 2018, and my buddy, I'm trucking. I'm running 2 trucks, and I'm falling behind. And my buddy, that sometimes helps, works for the county, and I called him up and said, hey, could you come run the second truck because I'm falling behind running corn. And I'm out in the middle of this field, in this field drive, and it's on a busy road, and there's no trees around. All the corn's picked, and I got to take a
Perfect storm.
Dude, when you gotta go, you gotta go
when
now.
something hits, like I don't have an extra pair of underwear or pants, so you gotta go. I luckily had blue paper towels, but I went around the truck where the road couldn't see, and waited for the combine to get on and the grain cart to get on the other side of the field, and took. Well, we didn't have auto tarps at the time.
Oh, no.
And later in the day, I get a Snapchat from my buddy, livid, absolutely pissed. He slipped in my tarping the truck.
Oh, my God.
And had it on his boot and had a picture of it on the ground. And I just lost.
I would die.
Yeah.
I would pass away. I would simply cease to exist if that ever happened to me.
But here we are, 5 harvests later, 4 harvests later, and the guy still helps him out.
He still comes around.
Once
And
you got that on, man.
once in a while, he'll send me a picture of a pile of blue paper towels and be like, Better watch out. I swear he's trying to lay landmines like where I park the truck now. I've avoided it for
Reason
since.
number one, why did you need auto tarp?
I got to be careful when I go to the in-laws operation because my sister-in-law runs an in-home daycare.
Oh.
So you got to be
You
careful
gotta be real careful.
as to where the kids are at or what time of day it
So you're
is
not
or what
moving
day of the week
anybody
is.
with innocent eyes.
Yeah.
You could go deer hunting with guys in southeast Iowa, and they will literally in front of each other's truck doors trying to get people to step in it. Like it's a game. It's a damn game.
Y'all are weird.
I don't know. Southeast Iowa.
Yes,
That's where you're going next. so.
Yeah, I know. I gotta watch out for those paper towels.
Yes, that's right. When you pull over, don't step on the paper towels. All right, let's regain
Anyway.
control. Let's regain control
About
of this.
that, yeah.
Let's go back to how you started or why you started Ag with Emma.
Okay. Yes. So that was
What
part of the
is Ag
time-
with Emma?
What
And-
is it?
Yep. And then why
Not
did
to
you
be
start?
confused with Midwest Emma.
Oh my gosh. I get that so much. No, because going back to the P TikTok, people were like, this isn't the Emma that does the other stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh. She's actually tweeted about me before. She's like, I feel bad.
I saw
did
that.
see
Yeah, I
that.
saw
I
that.
feel bad for that Ag with Emma lady because everyone thinks that she does
Yep.
bad things. Because I'm like, maybe you should just stop.
Mom, she doesn't do that.
Mom, I promise I don't.
She makes way more money.
But yeah, Ag with Emma started my last year of my associate's degree. So the April that I graduated with my associates, I was like, well, I was sharing ag facts on my story on my personal Instagram page because I have separated that at this point. Like that's the reason I started it. It was National Agriculture Month, so I was sharing facts about, GMOs, how much protein's in your beef compared to whatever. I know all the stuff that you see a lot of other people share. So I didn't want to annoy my friends with that anymore. And then the job that I had at the time with the seed production, no one really understood what that meant or why I did that or what happened. So I wanted to share more of that. And then the Instagram, I'm pretty sure I started my YouTube first and I made a video about seed treatment. When I met with Quentin Keneally, I think I had 50 subscribers that summer. So very small. I wasn't doing it for numbers. I was just doing it to put it out there.
I'm surprised Q let you on the farm with that.
I
pretty high
was not
standards.
someone of clout.
Didn't have her blocked.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, I started that. I just started posting and I was like, I don't care about the numbers. I just want it there. And so my boss was like, okay, that's a little weird that you want to start doing that. Just be careful with the numbers. You don't share some details kind of thing. And then I decided I wanted to stop advertising that I was posting YouTubes on my personal account, switch it over to my Ag with Emma account. And I think I started as farming with Emma. Then I was like, I'm not a farmer. I have to switch it. I was like, I'm just a farmhand. And I want to share more than just farming.
Not just a farmhand.
But no, I get it.
Yeah.
Because agriculture is more than farming,
Yes.
and ranchers don't like some
Exactly.
don't like farming,
Yeah.
and some might be horticulture or aquaculture, whatever. It's agriculture.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
So that's why I switched to Ag with Emma. And I had a whole process that I was like, oh, you guys choose a new name and I'll send someone Instagram, because. But I just went with Ag with Emma. I can't even remember some of the names. I'll find those later, but I think some of them were funny. Anyway, I started that and then I had a TikTok. So I started my Instagram, YouTube. That was in April. Graduated college, was driving back and forth from Idaho to Iowa because my family had just moved out here right before I graduated. And so I was like, hey, I'm meeting all these people with my Instagram. What if I just stopped on the way to see them? Because then I'd be I'd be breaking up my trip and get to go meet these people and learn new things because I really didn't know anything about Midwest agriculture. I started doing that. And then in July, I had a TikTok about GMOs and COVID vaccines blow up. And it was something about comparing the two as a joke.
Oh, yeah.
Because all the people that are getting their vaccine are mad at GMO kind of thing.
Right.
And I was just joking. If people took it way too seriously and got all offended, because that's the time.
So what
it
is
was.
what is blowing up? How big did it get?
It was 10,000 likes. I thought it was so cool.
Yeah.
was
Well, I mean, it's huge.
Oh, look
Hey,
at that! When your account
sometimes-
only has 800 followers, and you're like, you get all these notifications and it blows up overnight and you check and it's like, oh, 99 plus notifications. And you're like, oh, I'm famous.
Yeah. Hey, Tanner gets like 10,000 likes a year. That's a pretty big deal.
I know.
I was going to say, Corey gives me so much crap because about that same time frame, I was in Spain and went up on a street performer that one of the gals in our group threw some change in the bucket, and he was a military guy, did his gun twirl, and reached out and saluted her, and that went for 1 million likes, or 1 million views. Yeah, 1 million views, and that blew me up. I had like 17 followers.
That
at the
and
time.
your grain backing one.
Yeah, but I mean that's what started off to where I didn't deserve that at all. Yes, it was cool,
But it wasn't you.
but it wasn't me.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything that I was going to get to see or do again. I mean, you can't replicate that.
Those were the good old days of TikTok when guys like you and I could get a lot of
Right.
likes and
Right.
views. It's hard now.
Yeah.
I mean, Emma gets them every day, but it's hard to get some views.
I celebrated 1,000.
The algorithms are tough. So, but Emma's got a cult-like following now. So
They're all obsessed with the same number I am, you know. But
Okay, what is that number? Because someone,
43,560. It's the number of square feet in 1 acre. So
why? Why?
When I was in high school, this goes back to the ag teacher. My ag teacher in Gooding, he would always give us crap about it because he's like, you should be able to remember it because it goes 43,560. So if you take 3, 4, 5, 6, and you switch the 3 and the 4 and you add a 0, that's how many square feet are in an acre. And I try to tell people that, and they're like, it confuses them so bad.
Right.
So,
But it is always it seems like it's always a multiple choice question on a ag test, either in college or in FFA or whatever, like it's something you should know.
The house address that I grew up at, I'm not going to say the street because I don't need any creepos sending my parents' stuff,
exactly.
was 5679. And I struggled to remember that because I'd keep writing 5678 as a kid.
8675309.
Yeah, that's
Stacy's mama's got it going.
That's where the new podcast studio is going to be.
Okay.
It's going to be 867.
When's that gonna be?
309 Main Street. I don't know. We got to see if Emma's willing to stick around. That's what we should talk about next. Okay, so I was writing notes. Check this out.
Okay.
Grew up ish on a dairy.
Ish.
Well, I mean, you haven't grown up.
I have.
Yeah.
You
Still
guys haven't
growing
even
up.
Grown up.
Had a role at the extension office. We're in seed production, fast food. Skipped the end of college. Worked in a shop, right?
I'm gonna say skip from now on.
You've postponed, right? Or you could always go back. Maybe down the road.
Look
You
at
don't
her
have
face.
to.
Her face is
No,
saying
okay,
no.
never not. Nope, she skipped.
We're skipping.
Definitely skipped.
We're not dropping out. We just skipped it.
Yeah.
We don't need the end of it. We'll skip it.
You're done.
You're done.
Worked in a shop
Yep.
that also tied into irrigation equipment. And then we're on 2 different custom harvest crews. What are you doing next?
I am going to Australia.
What?
On
Down
the
under?
17th of November, I fly out from. It's
So
might be
literally
the
the
18th.
day this show airs.
Yeah. Hold on. I
You're
gotta check
leaving
my
today?
calendar.
You're not even.
Today, I will be on a plane
Yeah.
out of Phoenix, going to Melbourne.
And
You are
you're
going-
in Huxley, Iowa right now. Whew.
You are going to have to.
I know I'm so broke.
You are going to have to download this before you get on the plane, unless they give you Wi-Fi on the plane.
Yeah, it's the 18th. I fly out of Salt Lake at noon
Wow.
to go to Australia. Like that is
Salt Lake. So you're in Iowa right now.
yes. So my plan is I'm gonna leave right from this podcast. It is currently 6:40 at night. I'm sure these guys will talk to me for probably 2 more hours because we have some things to discuss. And then I will be driving about 2.5 hours south to like the bad part of Iowa.
The poop on the running boards or whatever Corey
Yep.
said.
Yep.
Yeah, the butt crack of Iowa.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to spend a couple days there because my family is down there. My siblings are down there. I haven't seen them in a while, and I never stay at home for more than 2 days. So they're like, you have to stay for at least 3 this time. And I'm like, okay. So then on Friday or Saturday, I'm going to drive 24 hours to Idaho. And then I'm going to stay there for however long until I fly out on the 18th. So
Wow. And what are you going to be doing in Australia?
harvest.
Harvest?
More harvesting. You can't get enough of it.
Another-
With case equipment, though.
Oh.
I've never run a case in my life.
Well, you got to know.
I
it
don't
all.
think it's a bad thing.
No?
I'm going to get to experience it.
I've run a case, like the old white painted
Oh,
case
yeah.
tractors, but I don't think I've ever ran a red one.
I've ran a few. Like, not for long periods, but I've moved them or drove them around here or
Right.
there. But,
Never put them to work.
so is it another custom harvest crew over there?
No, so it's a family farm down there. And they're in Victoria. And then I'm going to go do that. And
Do we know them?
it's Tom and Jess Bickley off Instagram. So a lot of people know them. They were just up in America a couple, like this summer. They met with Farmer Dan. They go see Larson's, and they were up here for a wedding or something. I've never met them personally, but from what I've seen and what I've heard about their reputation from them coming here and being friends with everyone, I'm not too worried about it.
What a risk.
So
Yeah.
what crops will you be harvesting?
I'm pretty sure some canola, which I've never done before, and probably wheat. I don't know if there's more or less. I might be doing a little bit of hay in January, but I'll come back on January 28th,
So you'll be down there for 2 months?
2 months. And I figured now is like the perfect time to go because, you know, you get off harvest and you're like, well, everyone's here is slowed down. So I was like, I'm not going to get a
Absolutely.
job somewhere outside, you know, whatever. I could
Especially
get a
not
job
in
in a
Iowa.
shop, especially not in Iowa.
So do you think you'll pick up an accent?
I don't know. I guess we'll see. I
I
could
love
come
that
back and
accent.
record another podcast when I'm back, and we can sit with the recording
Yes.
side by side.
Let's see. So 2 months from now, you'd be back for National Farm Machinery Show.
Yes, that was the point. So I was like intentional about being back for National Farm Machinery Show because
Yes.
I love Kentucky.
So since you're going to be there,
Mm-hmm.
they use the metric system.
Yes, that's gonna be.
How many acres are in a hectare?
Oh, I can't remember if it's the 2 point something or the 0.405.
2.471.
2.471 is acres in a hectare, and then
Yes.
there's 0.405
Hectares
hectares
in
in
an
an
acre.
acre.
Yeah. And then how many square feet are in a hectare?
That's what you
10,000.
did. How many?
107,000.
10,000.
No,
Oh, there's square
that's-
meters.
that's square meters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Darn
Yeah.
it.
107,636.76 square feet.
That doesn't come off. I mean, you can't do the.
But there is
replace-
10,000 square meters in a hectare. So you are right there.
That's way easier.
Yeah. Oh, wait, it is. I get a lot of crap from my Australian friends. They're like, it's so dumb that you're obsessed with the 43,560 because it's so hard to remember and Americans are stupid.
It's
and I'm
so
like, I'm not
crazy.
disagreeing with you.
It is. But like then Uppy will rattle off like inches or feet.
Oh, yeah.
Like he knows it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, wait, like I could not do that with
Well, even when
meters
we
or millimeters.
even when we talked to Chase with the electric semi, that he was talking about.
yeah, he's like, oh, that'd probably be like 3
kgs
feet.
was pounds.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah.
For 270 inches.
We're
whatever
just
the
dumb
wheelbase.
and we
That's
won't
right.
learn other stuff. So
So how far away from Uppy will you be?
I think he's in New South Wales. I'll be in
Yep.
Victoria. I'm not sure how many hours. It might be a couple hours because it's in like central Victoria. I don't know what part of New South Wales he's in. I was going to go down there and work with Uppy, actually. We were talking about it for cotton harvest. But then I was like, well, I want to be up here during that time. I haven't even told him that yet. I haven't told him I'm coming down there. I need to Snapchat him. Be like, hey.
577 kilometers.
So
Which
cut that
is-
in half, and I think that's miles.
Still away.
that's not.
I mean, considering I drove 8 hours to get here, that's really not
Yeah,
that
it's
far.
not that bad.
That's chump change.
$74 on the train.
Perfect.
Piece of cake. 3.5 hour train
You'll
ride.
probably go see him.
Maybe if it works out. If I don't make
We just
plans.
talked to him last week.
Yeah.
He'll be on the show
Last week.
last week.
Yeah.
Last week.
Last week. Got it.
We just talked to him last week.
Yep.
But how cool is that? That
Yeah.
you, honestly, like you made the comment early on, you're living what a lot of farm kids dream.
Yeah.
And they just feel like they're tied to the farm.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have to say to those people?
I made a TikTok about it today, kind of, because I've seen this TikTok trend. It's like, what's the biggest lesson you learned in 2022? And I'm like, you're the only thing that's stopping yourself. That is it. Because yes, you can have a family farm. Yes, you can have responsibilities there, but you are the only one telling yourself the family farm needs me and my dad needs me. Like, they can find someone else. I've never felt that responsibility, but I see the problem with farm kids not wanting to leave. I see like missing out on a lot of stuff, and I know that their attachment runs very deep to the farm, and I respect the heck out of that. Like, I love that for them, but there comes to a point that you still need to experience a little bit of life. You know, I have all these kids, like, I get a bunch of messages a day, like, how do I start custom harvest? How do I go do this? How do I do what you do? And I'm always like, you have to let go of what you're used to. You know, like, yep, you have a family farm. Yep, you got stuff going on, but that stuff will always be there.
So the only perspective that I can provide, because I'm not on my family's farm, my parents are still farming. Neither one of my sisters are there. Just because you have an interest in agriculture doesn't mean it has to be on your family farm.
Exactly.
You could end up back there.
Yeah.
But I left and went into banking. I could still end up back there.
Exactly. There's so much time. And like, yeah, the family farm is always at risk for being lost if they don't have enough help, if they can't pay the bills. So when kids my age don't want to leave, it's because they feel that responsibility of all of that weight sitting right there. And it's like, that's not on you yet. So don't let it be.
I can't wait until we get into January when we do our recap of the best advice all of our guests have been given, because I go back to what Zoe Kent said. It all works out.
It literally does.
Yep.
It will all work out. You talked about being broke, going to Australia.
Dude, I am so broke right now, but it all works out. Like, literally, every time I spend money, something just happens and it works out. And that's how I know I'm doing what I need to.
Yep. That's powerful.
I mean, you didn't have enough money for supper tonight, and Delaney walked in with pizza.
Exactly.
We have to cut out the Delaney, no free ads.
Yeah, no free ads for Delaney.
So,
Okay, so you're going to go to Australia. You'll be there for a couple of months. We're going to come back for National Farm Machinery Show.
yes. Also the harvest convention. So the custom harvesters have a convention every year. I got invited to go to that to do, like, just come and see what it's about. So
Where is that?
it's in Omaha this year. They switch locations. So they go from Omaha to Amarillo to somewhere in Arkansas, I think.
Wow.
And this year it's in Omaha. So that's on the first weekend of February or something like that. So I'll get back on the 27th, be jet lagged as heck.
But there's no beer drank there.
Yeah.
It's probably a sober conference.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how harvesters are.
Yeah.
All those rainy days spent playing solitaire. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Sober.
Yep.
Yes. No alcohol involved, Mom.
So you come back.
Yes.
You're going to hang out, do a couple of trade shows.
Yep.
Does Emma have any idea?
I don't plan that far ahead.
Isn't that cool?
What if you had a perfect world, though? What would it be?
If I had a perfect world, I would have a full-time job with the Farm4Profit podcast.
Oh, there we go.
She knows how to butter us up.
And then I could travel around and keep doing farm tours with a source of income, and also maybe work on some farms, because that's how I want to be. I want to be working. I'm not just the tour lady. I don't just sit here and watch. I'm going to get my hands on it.
Yeah.
And so I'll do that. And then I might go back on harvest next year. Like, I would really love to if it worked out and if I found a crew that would let me tag along. Because the other part of it is that I wouldn't run with anyone who I've ever run with before, because everyone does things different. And that's also part of Ag with Emma, is discovering how different everyone does things.
Yeah.
Because, like, when I switched crews this year, they did things different, and I was always learning. I was always learning something new, and I was like,
So who did it better?
ooh, there's no better
Don't
way
answer.
to do things.
Don't answer that.
So that new crew always did it differently. I'm genuinely curious about custom harvesters. Like, where the heck did they get their acres? Do they plan all this out, or are they picking more acres up when you guys are just down in the area?
We pick them up everywhere. So we'll always be looking for acres. You're always looking for something to do, because you know that this farmer is going to get finished, and then you're going to have to go find something else to do, or you're going to have to move. Like, sitting still doesn't make you money. So whenever the headers aren't running, you're not making money.
Yep.
So, for example, when we were down in Frederick, we went down there with the intention of, oh, we have this, this, and this to do. But then you show up and all these farmers are like, oh, that guy's getting his wheat cut. I better go call that harvester and get my wheat cut too. Because, you know, farmers are always, bashing heads about, oh, I do it better. I'm going to do it quicker. My wheat's out of the ground. Yours isn't. Oh.
Yep.
Not like in a bad way, but, you know, some of them are like that. But
Yep.
Yeah.
so we would pick up acres if we could, and then, you know, they have stops that they've established work in, but they're always looking for more most of the time. And, like, with your number of combines, you have to know how many acres you need to cut per stop to pay for that stop. So all the fuel, food, labor, move days are really expensive, because you're taking, you know, all of your equipment, all of your campers, all of your crew, and you're moving, and that it was not cheap, especially this year with fuel. So,
And I imagine the DOT is just following like sharks.
like
you guys,
I learned so much about the DOT this year. I didn't know everyone hated those guys. Now I do.
Well, I've seen the way that some of those harvest crews get loaded up, and there is some sketchy ways.
If it's on the trailer, it's on the trailer.
Yeah.
How are you, though, a farmer with fields of wheat and you don't know who's going to harvest it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was a little confused about too. But I mean, some of them have harvesters that they used to hire, or they'll hire their farmer friends, or I don't know. From a farmer perspective, I couldn't answer that question because I would not. My anxiety and planning.
Like, my wheat's going to be ready in like 3 days, and I don't know who's going to combine it.
Yeah, someone will come around.
So most
Oh, my
of the
God,
time,
there's a guy up there at the bar. Let's go get him.
Exactly, that's how it works, though. It's okay. So like here, you guys all own your own machines because your fields are small compared to out there, and so out there where they have 9,000 acres of wheat, and it's like. I don't know. That wouldn't be the first thing on my mind. I'm sure was, I don't own the equipment. I'll just find someone that comes up here because they know, like, you're in the harvester trail. You'll pick someone up, and all the harvester cards are always like in the elevators, gas stations. Like, if you walk into a gas station in the middle of Nebraska, I can bet you $5 that there will be a harvester card pinned up in there somewhere.
So when you
There's a
walk in
bulletin
there,
board.
do you like pull everybody's out?
No, we should have.
Well, how do you stand out though? If there's
That's
10
how you do it. If you take them all off and just leave yours.
You make them more appealing. Helps if you have green equipment, but.
This harvest crew has ag with Emma.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't tell people that because I didn't tell people which crew I worked with. So I would tag them and stuff, but I didn't openly come out and like, I'm ag with Emma. I work with this and this.
Right.
So
I figured it out though why they don't harvest their own. Well, I have big fields and that, but they're truly a farmer by nature, and they want to go to the lake. And when do you harvest wheat? It's when you go to the lake.
Lake time.
the lakes in Kansas, yeah, the big and plentiful lakes in Kansas.
Well, maybe they
There's no lakes in Kansas.
maybe they travel.
I mean,
long
there
ways,
is,
or they go to
but
Florida, or I don't know.
I would be going to Florida with them.
Yeah.
so.
That's fun. I'm looking forward to you coming back with all your Australian experiences at National Farm Machinery Show and connecting with you there, recording another episode that you tell us we can't air. Because we got to stick with tradition. No, I'm excited for the continued saga
Yes,
of Ag with Emma.
I'm excited too because there's a lot of opportunities, like overwhelming amounts of opportunities, and people that are like, "Hey, what you're doing is really cool."
Absolutely.
So-
That's got to make you feel good.
It's a little overwhelming, but it does feel good. It's like I'm actually building this for myself, and I didn't even know this was something I wanted to do. I would have never thought, 2 years ago that I'd be sitting in the middle of Iowa with like Corey and Tanner.
You are the celebrity in the room. Like, we are honored to
No.
be sitting with. Are you kidding me?
I hate that word.
There are more people that would recognize you than would recognize either one of us combined.
in a Casey's gas station in your hometown. Yeah.
It's fair, right?
I want to give you a shout out because I remember in 2020 when things were just kind of blowing up. We were just started the Farm4Fun podcast like a couple months before, and you came on TikTok, and I was like, Tanner, check this girl out. We need to get her on the podcast. And I was like, there's something about her. I said, like, she's doing it for all the right reasons, right? Like it wasn't just some thirst trap or anything like that.
I wonder if I could find that message.
It was along those lines, and I just want to say it's been amazing to watch you grow from 1,000 probably followers when I saw you to what you are now, and it's like there's no end in sight. So it's like it's awesome.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's the feel good stuff.
Yeah.
I remember, I think when you followed me, I was like, oh, he has so many followers. He's the Busch Light combine guy, and he followed me. I got so excited, and then I would take Snapchats.
2 weeks later, you were way
Yeah.
past me.
No, I think I just got past you like a couple weeks ago. But yeah.
Isn't that funny though? How you can develop a relationship with somebody, and you can see right through the social media, whether it's a Tony Reed and you know that it's not really Tony.
Yeah.
And then you get to meet, because we got to have a conversation with, I would say, a lot of people so far before they exploded. I'm taking Tony Reed, Justin Danger Nunley. It just.
I remember the phone call that Ryan Peter called me. I'm like, who the heck's number is this?
Right.
he wasn't even on TikTok yet, or was just one of those creepers in the background.
Bushels and barrels.
Yeah, and he's like, I love your guys' podcast. He talked to me for 45 minutes. It was great. It was like I was talking to an old friend. Guy's got like 500,000 followers now, and he's killing it on his political podcast. And I mean, it's just crazy. It's awesome.
Our listeners love the games that we play.
Perfect.
So before we close out,
I want to play a game.
we haven't even scratched the surface. This is the fun part when we have guests on that we can come back and do again, and we probably won't talk about any of the same things.
Literally.
Is
Like,
this
we
the-
could do a podcast tomorrow, talk about completely different stuff.
But we can't. You have to be at your
Is this
house
the
for
game you
3
just sent me on TikTok a little bit ago?
No.
Truth or dare? Okay, dare.
That was my
Best taste.
Back to the poop story.
Oh my gosh, it always goes to
Would you rather time travel back 10 years or into the future 100?
Oh, I'd say back 10.
Okay. What about into the future 10 or back 100?
Into the future 10.
So did I miss that?
She likes the 10 ones.
Yeah. She doesn't
Well,
wanna go
100
very
is a lot
far.
to commit to.
That is a lot. I just want to know, like, if you go back, like, do you have the ability to change something that, like, would have changed?
You're supposed to not. You're not supposed to touch anything.
Would have messed everything up.
Oh, I guess, yeah, that would mess everything up.
That would. Yeah, don't.
What would you rather do, Tanner?
Oh, I don't usually get asked these questions. I want to go ahead 10 years. I want to know. I want to know what.
Or go ahead 100 years?
No, that's too far.
Exactly, it's too much to commit to.
I'll
See,
be
he gets
dead
it.
by. I'll be dead by then.
But
Modern
wouldn't you want to
science.
see, like, if you could go, like, oh, wow. My
And what? Read
grandkids'
my own
kids.
obit?
No, you're like, oh, yeah. I died in a tragic car accident.
A podcasting accident. Camera fell on my.
Podcasting accident.
Fell on me. This is getting out of hand. Would you rather lose your hearing or lose your vision?
Oh no! Oh no! Oh, that's hard. Probably my vision.
Oh, that's right. So
I
you can
like
still
music
listen
way
to
too much.
podcasts.
Yeah.
Oh, podcasts.
Podcast. Yep,
Right,
the
that
Farm
was-
for Profit podcast only.
Yeah, but have you seen the sign language people get down to some music, though? Like, it's bumping.
That's funny.
I don't know. I like to see things.
What would you rather lose, Corey?
There's a lot of good sounds, but I feel like I'm already losing my hearing, kind of, so I might as well lose that.
That's why you
And-
guys have to use the headphones, huh? So you
Yeah.
can actually hear.
That's
stuff.
right.
I like to see stuff. But then I wouldn't be able to podcast anymore if I lost my hearing, probably, because then I wouldn't
You
be
could do
able
a sign language.
That would be
podcast.
tough.
Yeah.
That would be really tough.
That's
Okay, last one before the payoff question. Would you rather have your boss or your parents look through the pictures on your phone?
My boss.
No.
Are we talking like camera roll,
Explanation.
Snapchat my eyes only?
We got all of it.
I'm just
You're going to have
all
to
of
teach
it?
us
All of
that.
it.
You're going to have to teach us that Snapchat my eyes only thing.
Definitely my boss. Because my boss lady. If we're talking like my Harvest Crew boss lady, I'd show her anything.
Yeah.
My mom though, I'd get my butt whooped. Just kidding. Either way, my camera
really.
roll's pretty safe. It's just ag with them and stuff.
I love that. That is what we needed to close this show out. Now the payoff question.
Yes.
What is the best advice you have ever been given? And you can think about this for just a minute. Listeners, if you want to come on the show, you need to reach out to us. 515-207-9640. Send us an email to farmforprofitllc@gmail.com. Also, we officially can say that we will be at National Farm Machinery Show, hanging out with Sukup Manufacturing. We will be at Commodity Classic, hanging out with John Deere. We will be at Farm Progress Show 2023
It's a long ways away.
with both Sukup and John Deere. These are going to be 3 key events. We're also headed to Husker Harvest Days with Sukup Manufacturing. So that is so far the trade show tour.
We
for
need a tour bus. If anyone
2023.
has like a good tour bus or something, that'd be good. Or a private jet. That'd be nice.
Yeah, the jet thing would be
If you
handy.
could fly us around, that'd be
Because
cool.
Commodity Classic is in Orlando. That would be helpful for us to get
And
out.
we need to go to Australia.
And we got to get
And
there.
South Africa.
Yeah, South Africa.
Yeah.
If you guys go there, you're taking me with you.
The day after Commodity
Commodity
Classic,
Classic.
we're hopping on a plane with Farm Babe. Just planned that 2 hours ago.
2 hours ago or next week. Or no, 2 weeks out.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll get you there.
Perfect.
All right, best advice you've ever been given.
Given, is probably from my dad, and he always tells me, remember who you are, where you came from, where you're going, and have fun. That's just been given to me. But best advice I've observed is, be so yourself that no one else is afraid to be themselves around you, kind of thing. It's worded differently, but
Makes sense.
yeah.
I like that. Well, so far I have scrolled back to March 29th of 2021, and I'm not finding the message, but it is quite comical to be tracking what Corey and I have sent to each other over the last 2.5 years on TikTok.
It's a lot.
There's a lot.
Over all medias, sometimes we'll have conversations going on 3 or 4 different ones at the same time.
Yeah. This has been a pleasure, Emma. How do people find you?
Ag with Emma everywhere.
And the key number that everybody's supposed to remember is
43,560.
This has been fun. I'm glad that you drove into the studio. I can't wait. This is going to sound bad. I can't wait to shut the mics off and have more of a conversation because...
What do you mean? We hold back on the mics?
Oh, there's going to be a round 2. Unless she tells us we can't air this one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to ask you guys to not air this ever.
Yeah, ever again.
I'm
shoot.
taking my...
Sorry, your mic's on mute.
Oh.
You coming? What?
That's funny. This has been a lot of fun. Listeners, hopefully you had a lot of fun. Corey, what do you do?
Crack a Busch Light. You deserve it.